taken biology in high school, right? And do you remember anything in particular in the biology labs, like something interesting in there?
No.
No? Okay. I myself, though, remember some replicas of the human body, like plastic heart, plastic kidney, livers, things that actually help the biologists and all of us to visualize how the human body works. So they were kind of models used by the biologists. And economists do the same thing, but instead of the plastic hearts or kidneys, we use models made up of diagrams, graphs, and mostly equations. And one of these models, which is pretty simple but very important at the same time, is the PPF. Does anyone know what PPF stands for? PPF is the production possibility frontier. And today, we're actually going to learn what production possibility frontier is, how to build it, and all the other terms that are associated with this model. PPF is various combinations of outputs, and usually we build it by supposing that we have an economy that produces only two goods, let's say cars and computers, because if we think of the real economy that produces many, many other goods, then it is impossible to build to graph a diagram with so many goods, as it's going to be many dimensions. So we're trying to have an economy with two goods so that we can express it into a quadratic box. So the first thing that we do is we put each outcome in one of the axes of the quadratic diagram. One of them on the vertical axis, and for the sake of argument, let's say cars will be on the vertical axis, and computers will be on the horizontal axis. Now let's suppose that for 1 week the economy has resources only to produce cars, not computers at all. And suppose that within that week the economy will produce 15 cars. So we have an extreme point of 0 computers produced and 15 cars. Now we have to imagine that the economy on the next week, let's say, has resources to produce only computers and no cars at all. And let's say that for 1 week, the economy will produce 200 computers and 0 cars. Now we have two extreme points. In order to build the PPF, we just have to join the two extreme points through a straight line, and all we get is a triangle. And this is actually what we're looking for. This is the PPF. Now, there are many combinations of outputs. Some of them are right on the straight line, and some of them are inside the surface of the triangle. All these points, let's suppose we have a point A, and we see we are producing 100 computers and 10 cars. Point A, we consider it to be efficient. Why? Because the economy here cannot produce more cars without producing less computers. Let's say, so if we want to produce more cars, let's say we want to produce 12 cars, then the economy has to sacrifice the number of computers produced, given its factors of production and its own technology. So it can produce 12 cars by sacrificing the number of computers, let's say 90 computers. And that's why we consider these points A, B, and all the other points on the straight line of the PPF as efficient outcomes, because the economy cannot produce more than what these bundles represent. However, if let's say we have a point D here, at point D, the economy can produce 150 computers and 3 cars. What do you think? Is this point efficient? No, it is not, because based on the efficiency, we said that efficiency means we cannot produce something more without giving up something else. Here, at point D, we can produce more cars and more computers than 3 cars and 150 computers. Let's say point E here. At point E, we can produce more cars and more computers. And the economy here is not being efficient because it's not using wisely all the resources that it has. And that's why the points here are inefficient. Yes?
If the first 2 points is not efficient, I mean
which one?
0.
A and B, they are efficient.
The first 2, the 15 cars, 0 computers.
Oh, 15 cars, 0 computers?
Yeah, just
these are
the first
point.
2. Yeah.
The first
here.
one.
These are the extreme points, considering that the economy can produce only cars or only computers.
So they are efficient, right? They are both efficient.
They are not efficient because the economy is supposed to produce both of the outcomes, not only one outcome. As it has enough resources to produce both of them, these are considered to be the extreme points, while all the other points, except the 2 ones, are efficient. But let's say we have a point outside of the PPF. These points that are outside of the PPF are considered to be not affordable at all or not feasible at all because the economy just doesn't have enough resources to produce this amount of cars or computers, and they are considered to be not feasible. So far, through using the PPF term, we know how to find an efficient bundle, an inefficient bundle, and a not efficient outcome. But through the PPF, we can see that the PPF shows kind of a trade-off of the society. So we give up something in order to get something else. We give up some computers in order to get some more cars. And this is another term called opportunity cost, which is a very important term in the economy and in the economics, and you will see that in the next lectures that we're going to discuss. Another important concept that derives from PPF is the economic growth, which we're very concerned nowadays. Let's suppose we have a technological advancement in computers. So within the week, we can produce more computers than 200 computers, but the number of cars produced remains constant. So what will happen in this case? We will have a shift upward of the graph from